Recently, Congress passed a bill called FOSTA, SESTA, which started in the House, and there was a different version in the Senate, and they were combined at the last minute. And the bill, the House actually wrote the final version of the bill. It was called it was called FOSTA. I think it was HR 1865. And the end result is that it exposes computer services and websites and platforms to downstream liability for what users post if those users are trying to sell prostitution or particularly sex trafficking. If in some cases any sex services at all can expose the platforms to liability. Now, there's some controversy as to whether the platforms need to know about the activity. I think the general rule for it is called the should have known standard, that the platform should have known that there was a significant misuse of their sites and that they didn't take steps to stop misuse of their sites, and so therefore when someone is harmed, the platform should share criminal and civil liability. You could call it the woulda, coulda, shoulda standard. That's another name for it. There's also the monitor's paradox, that if you monitor content at all, then some people think your liability increases. So that was another problem. Now the question is how this will affect people on the web. Already Craigslist has shut down the personal section of its website, and there have been a few other, I think some subreddits were shut down, and there have been a few other sites that may shut down, and there's talk that a lot of dating sites may be compromised, dating platforms, things where people find personals in general. So far, we have not seen a lot of concern for the larger social media hosts or for the web hosting companies that there is a need to filter content specifically for sex trafficking when there is so much other content that from their hundreds of thousands or millions of customers that they couldn't possibly filter it all just for sex trafficking. We haven't seen that they're particularly concerned about it. Most web hosts have acceptable use policies that prohibit things like running pharmacies, child pornography, and probably would have prohibited sex trafficking already. If not, they would have added these to their acceptable use policies. But generally they don't screen for them proactively. They depend on users to report it. Whether that is likely to be sufficient remains to be seen. But since FOSTA passed in late March, I haven't heard anything from any of the major companies yet saying whether or not they're going to take a harder look at what their customers are doing. I haven't gotten any communication yet from any of the companies, like Bluehost, for example, saying that they will.